Lately I've been feeling quite lost. I've been feeling quite lost in life. There's been somewhat of a pause between my last job and now, and it's been almost a year. I've lost track of how long it's been since I was last in a job. Maybe not quite a year, but maybe 6 or 7 months since I was last in a job. And it's not something I like to boast about, and it's not something I like to say that I haven't been in a job for almost 6 to 7 months. But this is the reality right now. And although some people just are like, well, I would lose my mind if I wasn't in a job, it's not been great for me to not be in a job, and I hate it. I hate not working, I hate not having a routine and a schedule. But the job market right now and the skills I can do and just where I'm at in my life um is taken a bit of a turn, and I've had a big breakdown, and anxiety and depression has just been on my mind a lot. And I know having a job doesn't help, and you need to get into a routine and so on and so on. But I have come across this shift in my life where maybe I've always been this way, but it's never been as clear to me right now than it is, and it's gotten to this age where I realise that I just don't work the same as everybody else, and my social requirements and how I fit in and adapt to working in a workplace are different to other people. I'm currently waiting to hear back from the GP to for my autism that I've done a right to choose. I'm currently working with an employment provider that are more catered for people like me, and it's not easy to be this way. I didn't choose to be this way. Trust me, if I could choose not to be this way, I would, because it would save a lot of time and energy on both sides for me and for other people, and I don't really like seeing myself as a label. I don't really like seeing myself as someone who's different to everybody else, because I'm not different to everyone else. Just because to a degree I need, maybe I need to more patience and time to warm up to everybody else and get familiar with my environments, and I like certain patterns, and I don't like unfamiliar unfamiliarity, and I like to get used to certain environments, atmospheres. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm excluded from working. Like it shouldn't mean that, well, if you can't handle this or you can't handle change, then you shouldn't be in a job. Like that's just discriminating, and it shouldn't really be tolerated. It shouldn't be accepted in society. Like, yes, there are flaws to me. There are, things that I'm not used to. But it shouldn't mean that, oh well, you know, you you shouldn't you're not fit to work in a working environment. Socially in life, I find it hard for in a lot of situations. Going out, for example, meeting friends and unexpected surprises, and just really awkward silences, and like I said, a lot of things where You know, maybe your friend wants to do one thing and go somewhere where you don't want to go, and you're explaining that, you know, you just don't want to go, and why you don't want to go. And I don't want to explain to people that, well, this is just me, this is just my who I am. I don't like certain changes, and I don't like kind of going off grid of what I like to do. And I'm very much set in my ways, and I don't like going out my way to go to different levels, to different situations and crowded, noisy atmospheres, places. Like, this is something I'm not comfortable with, and it's not something that, you know, that appeals to me at all. Like, I don't know everybody else who I'm unfamiliar with. I don't, you know, if I'm unfamiliar with people and I don't know them, it really puts me in a situation where I don't really want to be around them. Even going out in public scares the living shit out of me. Even just something like waiting in line, waiting in a queue, and you got all the people standing behind you. It's something I've got to adjust to, and I've got to tolerate and get used to. But it's not something I'm completely okay with. It's just that, unfortunately, there's the life that you want to have, and then there's the life that you have to have. There's the life that you have to go through, just like everyone else. Like, no matter what, you have to go through society. You've got to be around people you don't know, and you've got to go out into the world, and you've got to go all through these situations, and you know, and you've got to face the good, the bad, and the ugly. And unfortunately, I don't think life really caters specifically to you and to your individual needs. And although there's some people that will cater to you, and there's people who will understand what boat you're in, and they'll try to help you, not everybody does. And some people are just miserable. You know, they're just miserable, miserable bastards, really. They're just, I'm just trying to find another word to describe, but unfortunately, there are people who just don't see you the same as them. You know, they don't understand that there are people out there who are just differently wired, who are autistic, and who you know, just have different social needs and a different way of living. Now, I'm not trying to force my way of living onto someone else, but at the same time, I think that if I try to understand everybody else and you know, cater for them, I think that at least you should do the same for me and have the same respect for me that I'm showing you. Now, being autistic, when it, you know, just I don't even like saying the word. You know, I just think we are normal. I am normal. I'm the same as you. Like I said, there's just different. There's just different ways of going through life and social situations that I'm not as climatized to. I'm not as adjusted to. I'm not used to. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm completely different. I don't really know what it means to really, like, I think autism can be a very large spectrum. I think there's people on the spectrum who are very strongly autistic, and then there's people who it's barely noticeable. I don't think you can measure it. I think everyone, or nearly everyone, has signs as that they're not the same as everyone else. Personally, I think in life we're just different. I think we're all individuals, and we all have our different ways of going about life. And it's not this one size fits all. It's just that life and society makes it that way. That we're supposedly all the same people with the same social demands, and we've all got the same social tolerance, and we've all got the same patience, and but that's not true at all. We've all got our strengths and we've all got our weaknesses. And I don't think you should compare yourself and say, well, he's better than me or she's better than me, or we're all just people who have got flaws and advantages, strengths and weaknesses. But right now, I am a bit vulnerable. I'm not going to get away from that. I just want to get my life going again. Really, I just want to get my life going. I want to get the ball rolling. I want to get back into a routine and just get back to being myself and just really just working again and just doing the things I used to love and go out for a run every day and get my fitness regime going, because that's a big part of my life, and health, and taking care of myself, that is a big part of my life. The older I get, the more I realise that life it's not about, like, a lot of people when they're younger, and I'm not saying I'm old here, but I used to really just be this out and about in terms of like sleeping with women and wanting to just go around to a woman's house for a quick shag, and I thought that filled some kind of joy in my life. I thought that was the be all and end all, to have this popularity of seeing women, and that was somewhat of, I felt like, was me, but it wasn't me at all. And looking back at that, I don't know why I went to see so many, like, I don't know why having sex with women was even on my agenda, because life is limited, it's short, we're only here for a period of time and then we die. And I'm much more concerned about the way I'm living right now, getting a job, getting into a structure, doing things I want to do, and that doesn't come into it. Having sex, anything like that, really, like hookups, doesn't. It's not on my top agenda list. It's not on my priority list. I don't really care much about it. It's just that sometimes I feel like I do need to have some kind of intimacy, but I don't think it's that I'm looking for. It's just a proper connection with somebody who just gets me, and it's nothing to do with being sexual. It's just I want to have somebody in my life, either as a good friend or whatever, I can share a connection with, and there's no pressure for me to do anything or be a certain way. That's it. Life is much more than sex. Um, to be honest with you, I don't really completely know what I want right now. I just want a routine going, and that's it.